For 13-year-old Victoria Reyes, growing up with two active-duty military parents meant a lot of time away from them. At a very young age, Victoria began to use art as an escape, drawing anime-influenced digital pieces on her tablet. Today, the young artist is learning how to apply her skills in digital art to painting traditional works of fine art.
My name is Victoria Reyes and I am a digital artist. I studied art in preschool with crayons and drawing on paper.
Like most kids, Victoria's interest in art was immediate through the scribbles of young people. Victoria was about 4 years old when I noticed that her art started advancing at an accelerated rate.
My dad got me an iPad, and that's when it started to kick off, and I started to practice by going on YouTube. Around the age of 7 and 8, I started to get really serious about my art.
One of her drawings in her room was actually taking shape a lot better than I would draw at the age of 30, whatever it was.
My interest in Japanese culture first sparked when I watched my very first anime in 2016. It was Sailor Moon. And then I just got very into anime. And then at some point I started to do research on Japanese culture. Then I got into the food and its history, and that's how it all started.
Myself and my wife are a dual military couple. Due to the needs of the military and the time frame that we served, there was always a war going on. There was always training going on for the next deployment to support the ongoing war. And there was also missions that Maxine had to deal with. So all throughout that phase, there was always someone gone for the first maybe like 10 years of her life.
There's definitely a lot of moving involved and going into different schools, making new friends, and also having to leave a lot of friends.
Being away from both of your parents at such a young age, you can imagine the stress.
I would play music that would match how I was feeling and draw whatever I was feeling in the moment, and it'll help me escape from what was happening.
That span frame is when her art really took root, when she starts comforting herself as a self-soothing tool. She would express herself through her art.
Other stuff that have influenced my art style is watching other people make their art, seeing other people post about their art. I always like to experiment and try out their art style, and I think that all kind of mixes up together, and that's how I draw now.
Something that I think is unique about Victoria's art in particular, a lot of her female characters are always strong women, and they're definitely not drawn as a woman in distress. It's always a woman in a powerful position. My wife really pushes Victoria out of her comfort zone of just being quiet and reserved and placing her in situations where she has to talk about her art. She's also encouraged Victoria to move in different types of mediums of art, like paint, oils.
Like you see the shadows that's going on right here. You can block it out, and actually you can take like a pencil and sort of just block it out. You don't have to do the sketchy thing or anything like that. But well, the way I came about mentoring Victoria was through an event that took place at the Epicurean Hotel. It was an art show, and she was actually the youngest artist that was there.
Meeting Mr. Anderson at the art show was really cool because his art was very impressive, and I think it was awesome that I got to collaborate with him.
I'm always looking to collab with other artists, And most of the artists that I work with tend to be around the same age, and I never collabed with a younger artist. And I really wasn't looking at her necessarily as a mentor. I was looking at her as just a fellow artist, and how great that would be to combine her anime style along with the type of art that I do. I work with traditional oils and paint. So the challenge was, how can we combine that? So stepping outside of her comfort zone, she decided to do some work with acrylics in a paintbrush.
Doing traditional art is it's a bit uncomfortable and very foreign to me because I'm always with digital, and I'm free to make mistakes and I can undo and erase everything and there won't be any evidence of it. But once I do traditional art, I have to be very careful.
A part of growth is stepping outside of your zone, trying different techniques, different things, different mediums. We're creating this piece right here. It's anime themed, but doing it with traditional paint.
I've noticed Victoria's growth as an artist to be very exponential.
I started a merchandising company and it's called Blossom. I am excited about seeing children, teens, hopefully wearing my merchandise in the future.
What I'm looking forward to most with Victoria's work is seeing her trying different art styles and seeing what comes of that. I mean, it may be a combination of digital art along with traditional art, you know, cut and paste.
For my future, I love doing art, but I'm very interested in becoming an animator or doing something for movies.
For more information, visit victoriareyes.com.